Welcome to Pastor Jerome TV. I'm your host, Pastor Jerome Davison. And Aaron Hernandez was found dead in his prison cell this morning at an apparent suicide. Guards found Hernandez unresponsive in his cell at the Souza Baranski Correctional Facility in Shirley just about 3 a.m. Department of Corrections spokesperson Christopher Fallon said in a statement. Now, Aaron Hernandez was a decent tight end, very talented guy, but he had a very checkered past from following him from his time in Florida when he played for the Florida Gators. Now, his teammate Tim Tebow, who's a devout Christian, they tried to hook him up with Tim, and they said when he was with Tim Tebow, he did very well. He stayed out of trouble, whatever. But whoever he was around, he was like a chameleon. Whatever he got around, he became that element. And they said he was a very persuasive guy, easily to persuade, and that got him into a lot of trouble. And that's the way I feel about everybody who's in gangs. People in gangs, and they do what the gangs say. They train you to do that kind of stuff. And apparently Aaron Hernandez was a part of some gangs up in Connecticut, where he grew up at. One NFL scout noted that when he was doing the scout, because when you're coming out of college and the scouts they checking you out, they can even take you out. Let's say you're being looked at, scouted by the NFL, and the scouts take you off. They say, hey man, Jerome, let's just go hang out off the record. I mean, we don't want to talk about no football. We just want to hang out. Let's just go have a cup of coffee or whatever. And during that time when you're having a cup of coffee with them and you're just talking about your life, just talking reverence, just thinking that everything is off the record, they are still checking you out. And so you could say something like, yeah, I just, I wanted to hurt somebody at that point. And they're going to take note of that. And they're going to take that very seriously. Well, apparently they took this stuff seriously with Hernandez, because Hernandez, one scout noted that this guy was he went from 0 to 90 real fast. He was easily angered. He was not emotionally connected. There were some problems there, and they noted that. And all the NFL teams knew that Hernandez was some type of mental case, and he was a ticking time bomb. All right, and he died this morning at 27 years old, and he had a life of success and all that kind of stuff. And let this be a note to all of the young people out there. You can work hard and become successful. You can come from low places. You can come from hard places. But unless you're willing to let that stuff go and move forward into a better life, and that's the purpose of moving forward to a better life, to put your family in a better position, to get out of certain elements and out of certain neighborhoods and away from all the drugs and guns and alcohol and weed and all that kind of stuff. And a lot of these guys, the urban guys, come out of these communities, go right into the NFL with the weed smoking and the fighting and the carrying guns and doing all kinds of crazy stuff. And they don't want a better life for themselves. Well, they want the money, but they don't want to come out of that element. They want to keep that. And that's what all the rappers talk about. All the rappers still want to have that street cred and still want to act like they're from the streets when they're making all these millions of dollars. Aaron Hernandez, his sister was dating a dude named Odin Lloyd. His sister's name is Jenkins. And I don't know what went down, but he took Otis Jenkins out one night. I guess they said they put him in the trunk and blasted him. I don't know what was going on with Odin Lloyd and Hernandez's sister, but Hernandez took him out, and that's why he was convicted. That's why he was in prison at this point. He was convicted of murder in the first degree, and he was serving a life sentence without the possibility of parole. He was a cold-blooded killer. When you get those people that are psychopathic like that, and they don't have any sympathy, they don't have any remorse, any of that. And the only reason he killed himself in prison, I don't think he killed himself out of remorse for the person he killed. I think he killed himself out of being, coward of his future. I mean, his future is that you're not going to get out of prison, and that's the way you're going to have to live for the rest of your life. So he killed himself. I remember the day he was convicted, and it was on the news that he got convicted, and he turned around to the camera and did his gang signs and smiled, and like it was nothing. But now it does become something. It's kind of like that Chinese torture technique, you know, the little drops of water on your head. And it started out like it ain't nothing. Oh, you call this torture? This ain't nothing. This is torture? You call this torture? But over time, you just want those drops to stop, you know. And you do the crime, and you're gonna pay and you're gonna do the time. You don't kill people. You don't kill innocent people. And I'll say the same thing for this guy, the Facebook murderer, Steve guy. You go up and you cowardly kill an old man, 75 years old, 74-year-old. You take a man's life, and now you see what it is to be helpless and hopeless and be in a position to where you're just helpless, and now you're at a disadvantage, and you know what you do? You cop out and you kill yourself. You know? Think before you do stuff. Just think before you react to stuff. In Aaron's case, he had time to think it over. He didn't have to kill the dude, Lloyd. And this dude, Odin Lloyd, was a semi-pro football player. And the same case with this boy, the Facebook killer. He had time to think things over. And he even talked about it in his videos. And he knew he was being a punk. And he confessed all that stuff. So he had time to stuff. Don't just go out and kill somebody. He had time to think about this stuff before you go and take another person's life. You take somebody's life from them. That person may not be ready for judgment, to meet God in judgment. So not only do you take their time away from here on earth, but you take probably the possibility of taking away their eternity away from God, because they probably wasn't ready to meet God yet. And that would be my fear of killing anybody who's not trying to kill me. You know, if a person's not trying to kill me and I just innocently just kill them just out of the blue, or over some kind of misunderstanding or something stupid like that, I would be afraid that that person is not ready to meet God. That would be a great fear for me. And so, like I said, I don't even think Aaron killed himself over being upset that he killed that guy. I think this was all about him. But he was doing it. He was on his way to some success. He had got drafted in the 4th round out of Florida. 4th round pick. You probably got $200,000, $300,000, maybe $400,000 a year. But after 2 years, he proved himself to be a good tight end in that system with Brady and the other tight end and that offensive system they had. He was very effective. After that, they gave him a nice multi-million-dollar contract. And that's when he decided to commit this murder. But Aaron Hernandez, throughout college, and they knew about all the weed smoking and all the different elements that he was hanging around and getting in trouble. They knew all of that stuff. And that probably hurt him as far as his draft picks too. That helped him, that hurt him. And so he only got drafted in the 4th round. So, you know, to our young people that's probably watching this video, don't let people influence you to do anything stupid. If they want to go do something stupid, you say, hey, look, y'all go right ahead. I'm not doing none of that stuff. I don't want to do it. You go do it. And don't be influenced to do bad stuff. Encourage each other to challenge each other to go to college and make better grades. Now this right here is a waste. And he knew it was a waste, and he knew his future was super ugly, and he can't blame anybody but himself. See, life is a bunch of decisions. Life is made up of a long string of decisions. And when you decide to do something wrong, that's what sets you back. And it makes your life harder. Now you can keep making the right decisions and following good advice, and that can help get your life moving forward. Of course, life is going to have its obstacles for even people that make good decisions. But at least you don't have to deal with no jail time and nothing crazy like this. I'm Pastor Jerome Davison. Be blessed. Pray for me. I'm praying for you all.